So, let me ask you this. Are you really, truly getting the most out of AI? Because let's be honest, most of us aren't. Today, we're going to dive into a massive mindset shift that can take AI from being just another tool on your computer to being your most capable, most creative teammate.
First things first, we've got to completely reframe how we think about AI. Stop thinking of it like software or an app. I want you to start thinking of it as a person, and a very specific kind of person at that.
You know how it is, right? Your best ideas almost never show up when you're staring at a spreadsheet. They pop into your head in the shower or when you're out for a walk, those moments when your brain finally has a chance to breathe and connect the dots. Well, Winston Churchill was all over this. He famously had an assistant who knew him so well, his voice, his goals, his whole context, that he could literally dictate world-changing speeches from the bathtub. Just imagine having someone who just gets it, ready to go whenever inspiration strikes.
And here's the crazy part. That's not just for world leaders anymore. Thanks to generative AI, every single one of us now has access to that same kind of help. It's like having a super eager, super enthusiastic intern who never gets tired and is always ready to work.
Okay, but if we all have this incredible new assistant, why aren't we all seeing these massive, revolutionary results? Well, that brings us to what I call the great realization gap.
I mean, the potential is just staggering. All the research points to this. Professionals who use AI well are seeing huge gains. They're working 25% faster, their work is 40% higher quality, and they're just plain getting more done. The numbers are real, and they are massive.
But, and this is a big but, here's the reality. Fewer than 10% of professionals are actually seeing anything close to those gains. There's this enormous gap between what AI could be doing for us and what it's actually doing for most people.
And this is where it gets really weird and kind of shocking. A big study out of Stanford actually found that for a lot of people, using AI made them less creative. Wait, what? How is that even possible? How can a tool that's supposed to help us end up hurting our creativity?
Well, the answer comes down to how we approach it. The underperformers, they treat AI like a glorified search engine or a vending machine. They type in a lazy prompt, get a pretty mediocre result back, and then they just throw up their hands and say, see, this thing's useless. But the outperformers, they do something completely different. They treat AI like a new member of the team. They coach it, they give it feedback, they help it get better.
And that right there, that is the whole game. Shifting your mindset from seeing AI as a simple tool to seeing it as a capable teammate. That is the single biggest thing you can do to unlock its real power. So, how do we actually do that?
Here's what's so wild and different about this technology. It's the first software in history that can actually teach you how to use it better, right? You could never ask Microsoft Excel, hey, how do I become a power user, and get a useful answer. But you can absolutely ask an AI how to work with it more effectively. In fact, you should try this exact prompt. It's brilliant. You basically flip the script. You start by telling the AI, you're the expert here, and then you say, now interview me. Ask me questions about my job until you understand my world so well that you can give me some truly personalized, powerful recommendations. It's a total game changer.
This is the fundamental shift. The very best AI collaborators aren't just asking it questions all day, they're getting the AI to ask them questions. You become the source of context, the subject matter expert, and the AI becomes your brilliant intern trying to learn your world. That's when you go from just being a user to being a true collaborator.
So once you've got that teammate mindset locked in, what are some of the actual practical techniques that the pros use every single day? Let's get into the toolkit. First up is something called context engineering. You can think of it like prompt engineering on steroids. It's all about giving the AI the background information it needs so it doesn't have to read your mind. You give it your brand voice guide, transcripts of customer calls, product spec sheets, everything it needs to stop guessing and start knowing. Next is a super simple but powerful trick called chain of thought reasoning. Look at the difference here. Instead of just saying, write me a sales email, you add one simple sentence. Before you respond, walk me through your thought process step by step. This forces the AI to slow down and build a logical argument before it gives you the answer, which makes the final output so much better.
And finally, there's few-shot prompting. You have to remember, AI is an incredible imitation machine. So instead of using fuzzy words like make it sound more professional, just give it an example. Show it an email you wrote that you loved. Or even better,
Show it a bad example and say, don't do this. It learns from concrete examples way, way better than from abstract descriptions.
Okay, this all sounds great, but it brings up a really important question that a lot of people are worried about. Is all this AI collaboration making us smarter, or is it just a brain drain, offloading our thinking and making us lazy?
And look, it's a totally valid concern. Researchers have actually hooked people up to brain scanners and found that when we use AI to help us write, the parts of our brain related to memory just light up less. The tool is doing the work, so the brain kind of checks out.
So what do we do about this? Well, Jeremy Utley from Stanford has this perfect way of putting it. He says, AI is a mirror. It's just going to reflect your own intention back at you. If you want to use it to be lazy and skip the hard thinking, it will absolutely help you do that. But if you want to use it to be sharper and more creative, it's an incredible tool for that too. The choice is really up to us.
So the key is to build some mental guardrails for yourself. Simple habits, like before you even open up the AI, set a timer for 2 minutes and just think for yourself first. Or have a strict no copy-paste rule. Force yourself to rewrite the AI's output in your own words. Ask it for counter-arguments, not just a finished answer. These little things make sure that you stay in the driver's seat of your own thinking.
And when you put it all together, that teammate mindset plus these smart, practical techniques, something amazing happens. You don't just get a little more productive, you start to unlock this whole new frontier of what's even possible.
And maybe this is the most powerful idea of all. The people who are getting the absolute best results from AI, they're not coders or engineers. They're coaches, they're teachers, they're mentors. The most valuable skills in this new world are deeply human skills. The ability to guide, to give great feedback, and to develop another intelligence.
Because think about it. At the end of the day, we all have access to basically the same AI models. The difference maker isn't the tool, it's the input. The most creative people have always been incredibly disciplined about what they feed their minds. So the real question is, what are you going to bring to the conversation? What unique perspective, what weird combination of experiences, what knowledge will you feed the model? Because that is what will truly set you apart.